Welcome to the Dodgers Blue News channel. Before the news, please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Now, let's get to the Dodgers news. What's up, Dodgers fans? Come closer, because today we've got some hot news involving our Dodgers. We start with Dalton Rushing, the team's top prospect, who's been mentioned in a potential trade with none other than the Tampa Bay Rays. That's right. According to Jim Bowden of The Athletic, the young catcher could be on the radar of the American League team, which is in a tight spot behind the plate. The Rays took a chance on Danny Jansen this season, but so far, the return hasn't been there. With an $8.5 million deal and a mutual option for 2026, Jansen is batting just .197 over 45 games. Not ideal. In an effort to fix that, they traded for Matt Thaiss from the White Sox, but he's only played 6 games and hasn't made much of an impression either. With both catchers in their 30s and neither one stepping up, the Rays might be thinking ahead. That's where Rushing comes in. The young catcher has already shown what he can do in the minors, and since being called up to the big league club in May, he's had some flashes. He started strong, recording multi-hit games in his first 2 appearances. But the grind caught up, just 3 hits over his last 9 games. Still, the talent is there, and so is the youth. But the situation isn't simple. Rushing is a valuable asset in the organization, and the Dodgers would only consider moving him in a blockbuster deal. Tampa Bay would need to step up with serious value, offering names like Pete Fairbanks or starter Zach Little, 2 arms having solid seasons. With 14 pitchers on the injured list and the battle for the NL West lead going down to the wire, the Dodgers are actively looking for reinforcements, especially on the mound. But giving up Rushing? Only if the offer is truly unmissable. Dodger faithful, here's the deal. With so many trade talks flying around, holding on to Dalton Rushing might be one of the smartest moves the Dodgers can make right now. Rushing isn't just the top prospect in the system. He represents the future of the catcher position in Los Angeles. At just 23 years old, he's already proven in the minors that he has the tools, the discipline at the plate, and a solid presence behind it. Even with a small MLB sample size, it's clear he has the potential to become a key piece in the Dodgers lineup for years to come. And let's not forget, Will Smith is an all-star and a leader, but it's always important to think about the next generation. The season is long, injuries are part of the game, and having someone like Rushing ready to step up is a real asset. Plus, in a clubhouse filled with veterans, keeping a young player like him brings balance and energy to the roster. Trading a talent like that for short-term help, no matter how needed, could be a costly move down the road, especially if it's for pieces that aren't among the elite names in the league. Rushing is the kind of player who can become a cornerstone of the franchise, and in a team that aims big every year, keeping this level of talent in-house could make all the difference. Continuing with the behind-the-scenes moves, there's another trade proposal catching attention, this time involving another American League giant, the Boston Red Sox. After heavy investments during the offseason with names like Garrett Crochet and Alex Bregman, the Red Sox expected to be contenders in 2025. But between injuries and underwhelming performances, reality hit hard. With the team far from the top of the division, Boston's front office is already considering becoming sellers before the trade deadline. One of the names gaining market attention is outfielder Jarren Duran. With the emergence of young Roman Anthony and the imminent return of Wilyer Abreu, the Red Sox outfield is crowded. Duran, therefore, appears as a valuable trade chip, and Bleacher Report has already speculated a possible scenario involving the Dodgers. The proposal puts 3 of our top prospects on Boston's radar: Dalton Rushing, Jackson Ferris, and Emil Morales. It's a heavy package. Ferris, despite struggles this year, is still seen as a promising lefty with good weapons in his arsenal. Morales has been growing as an internal talent, and Rushing, as we've mentioned, is the strongest future name at the catcher position. The logic behind the proposal is clear. Boston gains depth and young potential in key positions, while the Dodgers add a versatile and speedy piece to the outfield. Duran is an impact player. At 24 years old, with speed on the bases and a bat that has been adjusting well to the league, he could definitely contribute to the Los Angeles roster, especially with Michael Conforto not delivering as expected after signing a lucrative contract. Moreover, this addition would allow a redesign at the top of the lineup. Duran could take the leadoff spot, pushing Shohei Ohtani into the heart of the order, where his opportunities with runners on base could increase even more. But the question facing the Dodgers front office is it worth giving up 3 prospects for a reinforcement who, while useful, does not fill an immediate need? The Dodgers primarily need pitchers. And as talented as Duran is, he's not the solution for the rotation or bullpen. Of course, the Dodgers can pursue other trades to strengthen their pitching staff, which remains the priority. But when an opportunity arises to acquire a player like Jarren Duran, young, productive, and under control contractually beyond 2028, the stakes change. Players like him rarely hit the market. And when they do, something big is usually at play. Even with one of the most dangerous lineups in the league, the idea of putting Duran at the top of the order is tempting. He would bring immediate dynamism, base running speed, and the ability to get on base consistently, which could further elevate players like Betts, Freeman, and Ohtani. An already efficient offense would gain more flow and depth, making this proposal worthy of special attention. From Boston's perspective, however, the logic is more delicate. The team already has plenty of left-handed hitters, which makes adding rushing a less obvious fit technically. Still, the prospect's value lies in his potential and the flexibility he offers. Rushing can play not only catcher but also first base or occasionally outfield, giving Boston more long-term adjustment options. Beyond him, the main names the Dodgers could offer are mostly outfielders or shortstops, positions Boston already has well covered. The outfield is packed with promising youngsters, and the infield's future is secure with Trevor Story and Marcelo Mayer on the radar. In the end, this kind of trade requires more than just talent. It needs to make sense for both sides, both now and in the future. And for now, despite the potential, the perfect fit is still missing. For Jarren Duran, wearing the Dodgers uniform would represent an important step in his career, both in terms of exposure and competitive environment. Leaving a rebuilding team like the Red Sox and joining one of MLB's most structured and ambitious rosters would bring a significant change in routine and on-field goals. Duran would arrive in Los Angeles joining an experienced clubhouse with a strong winning culture. He would be alongside established names like Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, and Shohei Ohtani. Players who are not only technical references, but also set the standard for excellence and preparation day to day. For a young player still developing his full potential, this kind of environment tends to accelerate growth both on and off the field. Moreover, playing in Los Angeles would add a new dimension to his visibility. Dodgers fans are passionate, demanding, and deeply engaged with every team move. This creates a constant pressure environment, but also immediate recognition for those who deliver results. Duran would have the chance to showcase his skills in high-profile games, national broadcasts, and with constant attention from specialized media, something that can be crucial for establishing himself as a relevant piece in the league. Technically, he would be inserted into a lineup that requires less individual spotlight and favors complementary players. His speed, contact ability, and on-base skills fit naturally into an offense that already boasts firepower. This would allow Duran to focus on his strengths without forcing plays or deviating from his style to impact games. Additionally, the Dodgers' defensive rotation scheme would open interesting possibilities for him to play multiple outfield positions, keeping him active even on days he isn't at the top of the order. The Los Angeles coaching staff has a history of maximizing players' output with specific characteristics, which could support fine-tuning Duran's swing, pitch reading, and base-running decisions. Another relevant point is the competitive schedule. With the Dodgers, every series counts. There's no room for transition months or weeks to test out lineups. This naturally forces any player to raise their standard from day one. For Duran, this could be a valuable opportunity to firmly establish himself as a reliable, regular, and key player in crucial games. Finally, the league and style change could also bring benefits. Moving out of the American League East, known for its heavy schedule and aggressive pitching profiles, and into the National League, Duran would face new challenges, but also new ways to adapt and evolve. Overall, the transition to Los Angeles would not just be a uniform change, but a complete context reset. For a player already showing growing maturity and a strong desire to solidify his place, playing for the Dodgers could represent the ideal scenario to turn talent into real impact. For the Dodgers, having Jarren Duran on the roster even without an urgent need for an outfielder, would bring strategic value that goes beyond simply filling a position. Los Angeles operates with depth like few teams in the MLB, and adding a player with Duran's profile fits perfectly within that philosophy, building a versatile group prepared to face a long, grueling season full of variables. At first, Duran wouldn't come in to fill an obvious spot. The outfield already includes Mookie Betts when he's not playing infield, as well as players like Teoscar Hernandez, James Outman, Andy Pages, and Michael Conforto. But the Dodgers' outfield rotation is dynamic, especially with how the team manages veteran rest and distributes opportunities among young talents. Within that framework, Duran would be a piece capable of covering multiple roles without compromising the team's competitive level. His presence would allow the Dodgers to expand tactical possibilities during games. With his speed and ability to produce against right-handed pitchers, he could be used both as a starter in favorable matchups and as a bench weapon, entering in specific situations to steal bases, reinforce defense in late innings, or change the pace of a game with his energy. Another important point is long-term roster management. While the Dodgers are always competitive in the present, they also carefully plan for the future. Duran is 24 years old, under team control for several more seasons, and still has room to develop. Even if his arrival doesn't solve an immediate need, it adds structural value. In case of injuries, performance dips, or future moves in the market, having him on the roster would give management more flexibility to act without resorting to emergency solutions. Duran's potential contribution extends to defense as well. With good game sense and range, he could provide stability at any outfield position. This would not only help physically preserve other players, but also allow the coaching staff to experiment with different lineups, adjusting the team according to the opponent or the season's context. Even on a star-studded roster, there's always room for productive and disciplined players. If Duran adapts to the Dodgers' environment, it's possible that his role might start as complementary but grow into something bigger over time. After all, many players have gained prominence in Los Angeles by seizing opportunities in a system that values consistency, commitment, and adaptability. Therefore, having Jarren Duran available, even if not an essential piece on paper, is another typical Dodgers move. Thinking collectively, building roster depth, and preparing for any scenario a 162-game season might bring. The Dodgers have built a solid reputation over the years as one of the most attentive and strategic organizations when it comes to the player market. Los Angeles management doesn't wait for problems to arise before acting. Instead, the club operates proactively, constantly monitoring all league franchises, looking for potential reinforcements who can strengthen the roster in the short or long term. This aggressive and well-calculated market approach is one reason the Dodgers remain competitive year after year. It's no accident that the team is mentioned in nearly every trade window as a candidate for major moves. The organization combines efficient scouting, high-level data analysis, and deep knowledge of its own assets' value, allowing it to make quick, smart decisions when opportunities arise. The search for reinforcements isn't limited to the most visible positions. The Dodgers seek to fine-tune every detail of the roster, from the pitching rotation to versatile bench options, defensive specialists, situational hitters, and pieces that can be molded within the organization's structure. This involves both the present and future, with executives constantly evaluating who can help now and who can become a key piece tomorrow. Even with one of the most complete rosters in the league, the front office's philosophy is clear: there's always room for improvement. The goal isn't just to build a strong team, but to sustain that level of excellence over time. That explains why the club often enters talks for players who, at first glance, don't seem to fill an immediate need. The intent is to be prepared for every scenario: injuries, performance drops, adjustments, without sacrificing competitiveness. This approach also sends a strong message to the clubhouse and fans. The Dodgers are always striving for the best. They don't settle for good results or just competing, they want to win. And to do that, they're willing to study every available name, listen to proposals, analyze combinations, and if necessary, invest heavily, whether with prospects, money, or roster flexibility. This market vision, combined with an efficient player development system, keeps Los Angeles at the top of MLB. In short, while many wait for the trade deadline to act, the Dodgers are already a few moves ahead, ready to take the next step before the competition even notices the shift on the board. In the end, this news reinforces one central point. The Dodgers operate with consistency, vision, and intelligence. They don't make impulsive trades. They are always a step ahead, evaluating the full picture: current performance, future projection, clubhouse impact, market value, and tactical fit. If Duran arrives, it will be because all these variables pointed in the same direction. And it's precisely this careful and ambitious approach that keeps the Dodgers among the top title contenders every season. Whether with established stars or rising talents, the commitment is always the same: build a roster strong enough to compete in October and win. Now I want to hear from you. What do you think? Based on all this, do you think the Dodgers should invest in a trade for Jarren Duran, even with the high cost and no immediate outfield need? Leave your opinions in the comments. See you next time, Dodgers Nation.